episode 1 of It's Late and I'm Fat. This is your host, Kirk. Let's dig this intro music here. You need some music for your stupid idea? Thinking about making a movie? Maybe Jodorowsky's Porky's, a documentary kind of thing. You can use this music for that. I don't give a shit. Oh. So anyway, this radio show I've been doing in Austin for 5 or 6 years. It's ending November 30th. Every week for these past many years, I made a fresh hour of original music to go with a science fiction short story read by my friend and co-host. But he's moving to Houston to take care of his mom who has the cancer. And I don't want to be bored. So today, October 21st, starting a new project so that I don't kill myself or whatever. Unalive myself, sorry. First story I want to tell, these are both stories I heard on YouTube, by the way. First story is a blood atonement, like a blood oath thing. So during the time of the Civil War in the later years, towards the end, the Confederate Army had a lot of deserters. You can imagine why. So they had these crews of soldiers that would go around looking for deserters and bring them back into the army or punish them or whatever. And they go and they just end up becoming a roving group of drunk gangs, basically just harassing people at will. And so they rock up on this homestead and just bust in, grab the dad of this family and kill him, and just like rob the place, turn the place upside down. And this when they finally leave, the mother gathers all her sons. She has something like 7 sons or maybe 6. And she gets all of them, all the way down to the 5-year-old, to lay their hands together on their father's corpse and swear they will not rest in this life until they kill every last man responsible for his death. And they all swear it to a man. And man, they get off to a running start, these boys. They end up finding and killing the ringleader. Once they're all of age and all that, they just go off post-Civil War searching the country for these men. And, they've knocked off 2 or 3 at this point. But the first one they kill, the sort of leader of the group, they bring the skull back to their mother, I think at her request, and she takes this dude's skull and she sort of shapes it and torches it into shape of a soap dish, and she keeps her her soap on there, and it's said that she's extremely proud of her soap dish. And this is a woman, like, she's a mover and shaker of the Civil War time, I guess, post-Civil War. She's a woman in town who's just known to be, if she cares about you, she's very helpful, very hardworking, very stern. If you cross her, like, you're screwed, though. She's just not to be messed with. And, she loves her soap dish. So anyway, her boys go on, they end up getting, I think, 5 or 6, all but maybe 1, before her, eventually her boys are gunned down. But when she gets older, and I think all of her sons are dead at some point, when she talks about them, it's with such love and respect. She's like, they died like men. They died with their boots on. And so when she gets too old to care for herself and is bedridden, she's got people to take care of her. She's got like some money and an estate, being kind of a shrewd businesswoman in her day. And as she's clearly about to pass, like on her last day. One of the nurses or the helpers there says, "Is there anything we can do for you? Is there anything you'd like to do one last time?" She's like, "Yeah, if you could just bring me my soap dish." And so they bring over the skull soap dish, the revenge soap dish from Bloodbath and Beyond. And she washes her hands slowly, joyfully, dries them off, and then closes her eyes and dies. All right. This next one is less murdery. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should play a little bit of guitar. God, I have the worst cotton mouth. All right, I'm opening up the guitar track here. In the key of F. Pretty sure. Mostly going to be F minor, but I think we did one part that's ambiguous, so let's get major. That sounds so weird. I don't know anything about video stuff. Sorry, this visual is probably just going to be of me making the drums and synth stuff. I don't have any video of me talking or playing guitar yet. I don't know how to overlay. I don't know any of this stuff, y'all. All I know is music. I'm being fat. That sounds neat. Radio show's still happening, so this music is actually going to go with a Philip K. Dick short story. We can remember it for you. Wholesalers. I don't know. It's the story that they used to make the Total Recall script. Man, don't judge me by this synth part right here. I swear to God, I like girls. All right. Next story takes place around the same time, a little bit later on, think post-Civil War, automobiles. So at the time, poor sharecropper families or whatever, just poor American families, of which there were plenty, there were these work camps and things that you could send your children away to. Sounds weird now, but at the time people did this. They were desperate. And so this one girl, she's about 12 or 13, and her folks send her off to, or they get convinced by this gentleman to let her go off for the summer and work. I don't know what it is. Maybe they take the tickets at some carnival. I don't know what it is, but it's a summer of work and it pays money. And this young lady, 12 or 13, she gets seduced by this huckster, goes and gets herself pregnant. And when she gets home, you know, the parents are, at the time, you know, this was just like a death sentence for a young lady. Just shame. So the baby was born and was given up for adoption. And so, you know, this young girl goes on with her life, sad, obviously. Never really has a boyfriend, though she's really beautiful. Some people would like say she's the prettiest girl in town. And she gets to be about, you know, 30, early 30s, and the people in town are starting to talk like, oh, she's going to be an old maid, because it was just unheard of for, you know, a woman who wasn't like sick or whatever to be unmarried, especially a pretty and smart girl to be unmarried at that late stage. It was just the thinking of the time, I guess. And but one day she meets this fella. This guy worked for the railroad. He was quite a bit younger than her, but he was just like a go-getter, smart, already had a real good job. And he gets assigned to go work in the, you know, southern part of the United States where this woman lives, and they fall for each other. They meet and fall madly in love. I'm talking full on madly in love. And they get married and everything, even before, you know, the guy has a chance to bring his family out. But they're just so completely smitten. They just have to tie the knot and I guess get on to having post-war sex. Yeah, I wonder what that smelled like. It was probably okay. So he has his family, you know, his parents and siblings and stuff come to meet his new bride, who he's gonna, you know, take home with him whenever his railroad assignment is up. And the family arrives, you know, meets the woman and the parents, and after about 20 or 30 minutes of some uncomfortable inquiries, they realize that the poor girl had married her son, you know, or that their son had married his mother. The adoptive parents were able to figure it out. I think they already had a question mark in their mind when it was the same town that he was going to work in. But anyway, horrified, the guy just goes ghostly white, can't speak. The family just takes him home. They have the marriage annulled. Here's the kicker. The news, her secret of like being pregnant and young had been spilled, whatever. I don't know if it was the annulment or the situation. It was just too good of a gossip for the town criers not to pass it on. But it got out that she had been impregnated when she was like 12 or 13, unwed and all that. And now here's the thing, like, marrying her son on accident was not what got this poor woman shunned. It was just being pregnant at a young age. It's weird. You would think now, like, the weird part that everyone would focus on would be that, oops, I married my son. But at the time, it was just the basic old, you got pregnant at that age kind of thing. Kind of like Aretha Franklin kind of story, if you know her history at all. And so the town completely shuns her, not to mention how shell-shocked she is by the finally finding love and having it turn out to be her son. And just, you know, It's awful. Old boys, like that movie Old Boy kind of stuff. But no one speaks to her. She is shunned and shamed, and she goes and lives this lonely existence in some little shack on like some rocky acre she has. And she scratches out a living barely, gardening and whatnot. And there's one guy that's sort of like the main guy of the town that sort of knows everybody, and he goes every year or two to kind of check on her, even though nobody else talks to her. And one day he goes to check on her, and she's passed away, and it's clear she's been dead for a while. And this little southern town suddenly, this story is told, I saw it on just a videotape documentary this cool old hippie guy does. He posts up his stuff, videos that he took years ago. He actually interviewed this woman who was a little girl in the town and knew all the story. When he interviewed her, she was probably up, 90s, late 80s, but she was lucid and she recalled the story. And when the sort of like town crier guy, who I imagine looked like W.C. Fields, when he tells everyone about her death, they all just have this sort of come to Jesus moment and realize how devastating it was for that woman to be alone and what it means to shun someone in a small community and not allow them any conversation. Like that Waylon Jennings line, a lack of love and conversation kills a man like slow starvation. It's like that. And so this woman, you could still see in her like 90-year-old cataract eyes that she carried the shame of this, even though she was maybe 7 or 8 years old when the woman passed away. It's just maybe that was the first story or understanding of how cruel humans can be in groups, whole towns of people. Most people encounter an evil soul here or there, but it's another thing to have a whole town turn their back on you for what we would look at now as just like a kid getting raped by some jerk, I don't know. Should probably keep saying unalived. I want to put this on YouTube. Takes me forever to do all the synth and drum machine sampler stuff. When it's finally finished and I get to switch to guitar, it's like, oh, thank God. Without knowing anything about or much about either, I imagine it's like playing chess for 6 days, and on the 7th day you wake up and go surfing. That's what it's like for me every week. Synthy sound right there, that's from the latest little machine I got. It's called the MicroFreak by Arturia. Probably post all the names of the little devices I use, like cheap little plastic things. listen to this all the way through, thank you. And then if you could comment below what else you do with your ample free time. Cause I got some free time coming up around the bend. It's late and I'm fat. This is the most important election of our lifetime. I'm not gonna vote, but I heard that online. Take a riff, but it's not in the same key, but I don't want to get copyright strike, but I'm thinking of Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers. It's in that like G minor kind of like seventh thing, but this is an F, so I do it down here. And Hellraisers, yeah. Cause we're experimental and professional. Beer drinkers and Hellraisers. Okay, this is ending now. Bye, y'all.